Hello, everyone. Welcome again. This is Cureton, Senior Journalist for XR Today. As always, bringing you the latest and greatest from the VR, AR, and XR industries. Today, we're going to be speaking to the one, the only, Dane Johnston. He is a Senior Director of Omniverse Foundation, and he'll be sharing with us some very, very insightful things about the Omniverse. So once again, it's a pleasure to have you on, Dane. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, brilliant. So there were a lot of really, really stellar kind of updates that took place with the Jensen Huang's keynote speech, and he gave us a lot of information about updates with Cloud XR, with Omniverse, and I think it's in its fourth iteration. Is that correct?
Effectively, yeah, we've been cranking on it for a little while here.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to see like how people can use the Omniverse, what it's going to entail with these new updates, and some of the information behind the technologies, because it's quite a bit to unpack there. So, from your experience in the tech industry, where do you see rising demand for cloud-based collaborative and streaming solutions?
I mean, one of the ability to rapidly review and iterate on very large data sets is kind of one of the most impactful and needed abilities when you have like a cloud-based platform. Some of the data sets that we are seeing being iterated on are massive. Massive factories, complete and total designs with all engineering data and design data built in, and sometimes getting that transferred very easily between like kind of a traditional workspace environment is just prohibitive. It's prohibitive for a lot of different reasons. Not only is the data itself, like I said, obviously very large. If you're talking like an entire factory for like an automotive company like BMW or Mercedes, you're going to have every robot, every frame, every nut and bolt needs to be accounted for, and it needs to be designed in the same space. So previously, if you're in a more workstation setup, you're going to maybe look at a certain part and a certain part, and you're not going to have all the context all the time. When you have a really cloud-based and collaborative system, which can have all these microservices and backends, which give you that advantage of being able to adjust your content or easily stream your content. Now suddenly you're able to bring in anybody to review this environment. It's much less of a a lot of times we've seen in kind of more of a traditional workstation establishment, the time to review and the time to iterate is a lot slower than if you can go to a complete cloud-based and streaming solution with all that horsepower and data transfer in the same place, right? So if all I'm streaming is pixels to all the individual users, that's light, right? I mean, we've got all these fantastic video encoders now, but if I'm transferring to each individual workstation all the data of a factory, now all of a sudden your iteration time's a lot longer. I don't know the old joke of programmers where they used to, I'm compiling, right, and then they would go and make a coffee or have a sword fight. When you have a cloud-based solution where the data is there, it's on the server, it's ready to roll, that means it's instantly streamable to you. So you might lose that fun time, but you're going to get your job done faster. So I think that's a bigger win. And
Absolutely.
that's the biggest area we see it. Yep.
Yeah, defo. And I remember the days when I was attempting to do computer science and had to hit
Yeah.
the compile button and
Like,
just
well,
cross my fingers and hope to.
Yep, I got time. Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess one of the other really big improvement or advantages is that you can also standardize the systems, right? If you're a very large organization and you're used to kind of building out all these individual systems and upgrading constantly, if you do have a cloud-based solution, you can build a more stable environment. You can build an environment that maybe has the most latest and greatest graphics technology without having to move that infrastructure around your company.
Excellent. And yeah, with some of the things that we've seen, like with, for example, Siemens, that was been like an amazing use case for the type of technologies that NVIDIA
Right.
hopes to, scale up with a lot of the Omniverse, technologies and tools. So we speak a little bit about that. one of the main things about the industrial metaverse and other types of technologies with NVIDIA is the return on investment for its users. Now, in an industrial setting, how does the Omniverse hope to do that for people, like to build that ROI?
I mean, a lot of it is time to completion. So when you're kind of looking into a situation where you can take that data, easily transform it, and iterate a lot faster, that's going to be your main time savings. Is the time it takes to design some of these faculties is simply amazing. You know, tens of thousands of designers, many iterations, even on-site iterations. So being able to keep your data co-located, keep it in a common format, and being able to really rapidly iterate with not just your designers but your stakeholders. I can't stress enough how important it is to be able to make your stakeholders easily and readily available to your design. Will improve your iteration time, and that just reduces your manpower, your hours, right? How much gotta think of a better way to phrase that. How effective your designers and engineers will be.
Absolutely, yeah. And for example, like when we look at automotive, that's been one of the major verticals in using these types of
Right.
industrial metaverse technologies. Now you can have the CAD model readily available for everyone for viewing in like Vario headsets, for viewing
That's right.
in
Yeah.
MetaQuest headsets, whichever hardware the people choose to use, and it's on the fly. So immediately you can access it rather than shipping a claim model when you're designing something in the AEC vertical. So there's so much potential there I see with that in digital twins and the incorporation of different kinds of real-time 3D assets. So you know there's going to be a lot taking place in this particular sphere. Now, for you, I wanted to specify, I guess, some of the specifics on that. You know, for you, which technologies has NVIDIA implemented on its latest Omniverse platform, and how will that help to drive adoption rates for enterprises? There's been quite a few on that one.
Yeah, so no, that's a great question, and there's a lot of different verticals we could dive in on that. I'm going to first jump in on the XR vertical because your T-shirt says XR, so that helps me out. But one of the big things that I've been in the XR VR space for a long time. My team, we did a couple of different iterations of VR experiences here at NVIDIA. We made a carnival game, like 6 or 7 years ago to try to show off the technology called VR Funhouse. And then after that, we did a automotive design review tool called Holodeck, and that's actually what ended up birthing the Omniverse experience. Was the learnings we had from Holodeck and kind of improving that design review process. And one of the things that really stands out to me with the latest integrations of Omniverse is that there's kind of a couple key pillars. One is that data transport. So everything being on USD is massive. Having a great way to ingest whatever format you want into a USD format, which can then be transported around to various applications, not just Omniverse applications, right? But like I can take it to Maya, I can take it to Blender, I can take it to Unreal Engine, and do that in a seamless way with the same data set. That that alone is for someone who's been doing this for a long time, that's worth its weight in gold. That ability to not have to constantly transpose my data, but having a nice, solid, universal scene description that we can all join in on. And with that, inside of Omniverse, we've now opened up XR. It used to be a little bit more in the experimental phase of the Omniverse platform, but now we've included it in all of our foundational applications. So if you're in USD Composer, which is a foundation app. Basically, Omniverse is a developer platform, so we build these kind of example foundational applications that you can take and kind of turn into your own application for whatever your own workflow is. And now we've made XR available in all of those. And most recently this summer, we were working with Vario in their XR3 headset, and it's just amazing the visual qualities that when you put on a headset and you have a pure ray traced environment, how much more immersive that is. Because all of a sudden, the reflections are nothing's faked anymore, and you can feel that when you're actually looking at a design, that you know that the shadows, the reflections, the lighting is all physically accurate, and it pulls you into that space so much more. I mean, this is why in the past, we had clay models and we had to actually like build it physically. Now, when you're able to take engineering data, and that's a key crucial bit, you're able to take engineering data that has not been decimated. It's not gone through. Some of our customers that we work with, they spend 8, 10, 12 weeks taking that engineering data to be design review ready on a headset. I mean, it's a long time, right? Like how my iteration time is now 8 to 12 weeks to get an executive into a headset and see their data live. Um, we're down in like the days range where we can take this straight engineering data, pull it into Omniverse, don't need to decimate it, throw on an XR3, and walk around your design in a pass through environment. That that alone is a great driver of, like I said, improved iteration times. The whole adage of time is money, right? So if we can iterate faster, I'm hoping, my grand plan or our scheme is that my cars are going to look cooler and cooler and cooler because these designers will have more and more time to iterate, right? Like I'd still take that full 12 weeks, but I would take that 12 weeks making my design better and better and better and better and better instead of spending all that time just getting it ready to be reviewed. And I think we showed a demo this summer with Vario and GM, showing that Vario headset with the GM in the physical space with full ray tracing, and it was really pretty incredible. Eventually, I'd love to see that also hit consumers. And I think with Cloud XR and those technologies, in dealership experiences or being able to see what car you're going to purchase looks like in your garage or in your driveway and like it look real. I mean, that's a cool way to engage with your customer. And the technologies that we have now between RTX rendering and all of the interchange formats, I think has a real potential to start delivering those type of experiences to both your engineers and your design reviewers and your customers. And it's all going to be one cohesive. The dream is that's all one cohesive platform, maybe even one asset throughout the whole production pipeline. If you set up your platform right, you can do that. And like I said, that's just going to rapidly improve how you can move that data around and how you can iterate on it.
Absolutely.
The only other thing I was going to say was like, we are pushing towards being a generative AI platform too. So being able to add those into your design tools as well and build your kind of own generative AI workflows on top, that's going to be cool. Really excited for that.
Yeah, that's going to help kind of like build that interface between the user
Right.
and the platform itself. Because I remember
Yes.
like with Llama 2, with Meta, as something that they really want to do. You can just say, I need this, and then the computer responds accordingly and gets that, organized for you. So now you're actually speeding up those pipelines
Right.
as quickly as possible. So yeah, going to be really, really cool to see what NVIDIA does for that.
Yeah, we're playing with a couple of ideas now that I'm free to share. But like, what would it be like if you can use an LLM with a car configurator? No longer having to be like, let me push all these buttons on this UI. Be like, just can I see like what Batman's car would look like? And then all of a sudden it gives you the blacked out version of the car. And it's like, okay, it's just such a more fun way to interact with with these kind of tools. So I'm just, as much as I'm excited from an engineer perspective, I actually get really excited from a consumer perspective that I'll no longer have to interact in kind of these more traditional ways that we interact right now.
Defo. Yeah, and also with the development of like different metaverse platforms, you see the Roblox, model that's been taking shape. It's actually been taking the metaverse by storm. I've seen a lot of reports where people, it's like as young as 14 years old, they're able to just kind of build their own worlds. And then on top of that, if there was a generative AI kind of addition to that, then it's just you have so much more engagement because you just reduce those barriers to actually creating those worlds.
Yeah, that's right. And the whole point of Omniverse being a developer platform, and I've got two kids. My older son's 16 and he still plays Roblox, and he probably doesn't want anybody to know that, except for I just told everybody. But I mean that's a great use case of Omniverse. If you want to generate, use these tools and these examples to generate content for something like Roblox, that's that's what kind of unlocks you by having a platform that has all these kind of capabilities already in there.
Yeah, yeah, defo. One thing I wanted to ask you quickly was about NVIDIA's commitment to building these kind of practical, tangible use cases, because there's so many different kinds. Could you tell us a little bit about NVIDIA's journey to actually getting into the metaverse technologies, or at least the kind of infrastructure needed to build these types of XR tools? And what is it that NVIDIA wants to do to kind of like cement that commitment to doing so?
Yeah, so kind of mentioned earlier that like our real goal is to be a good foundation platform for you to kind of build your experiences upon. So we kind of build this platform on some core pillars. One of our core pillars is, of course, USD. We really believe in the concept of an open format like USD to enable the ability for anybody to start either in their own platform or on our platform and have a data format that is interchangeable and is rich. I think that's kind of one of the most important things about USD is that it's a rich format. It's not just geometry or animation or materials. It's actually scene graph information. We have put with Omniverse, we have our own visual scripting language that is stored in the USD file as well. So we actually have behaviors in our USD files too, and connectors that can translate that around. So that building that solid, stable platform with multi-user collaboration as well, and the ability to transfer that data without headache. That's the core of Omniverse, right? So that building that foundation where it's fully customizable and has the interchange format, the strong core functions of multi-user collaboration, real-time rendering, and the ability to add things like generative AI on top. That's our strategy. Our strategy, like I said, is to build that core. We're not here to deliver Roblox, right? Our strategy is to build a foundation that Roblox could be built upon. And knowing, with the technology that we have here at NVIDIA, we feel that we can provide a very strong foundation for that, and we're committed to building that strong foundation and having more and more partners kind of join us in this kind of movement to this kind of data freedom, for lack of a better term. So that's kind of where we're coming from and where we feel from the Omniverse team on the NVIDIA side.
Excellent. With that interoperability, I guess to the audiences, with that interoperability, this is how we're going to get those standards going for a lot of the different technologies to build the metaverse. Because right now, the fragmentation is one of the key issues that we have to resolve. And with these different types of formats like OpenUSD, it's going to really, really help to kind of get things going, moving in the right direction, so that people can get these, they can collaborate across different devices, across different platforms, and build that open standard. So yeah, thanks so much. I do really, really appreciate your time today, Jane. Sorry, not Jane. Dane.
Right. I'm normally like a Dave or a Dean or a Dan, so I'm used to it.
Right, let's go. Brilliant. We've been speaking again to Dane Johnston. He is the Senior Director of Omniverse Foundation. Once again, my name is Damon Cureton, Senior Journalist for XR Today. And if you'd like to see more conversations like this, please join us at the XR News hashtag on Twitter and LinkedIn. And we'll go ahead and get some more information into the comment box below. So thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Until next time, and keep following the news. Bye now.